welcome back. I know we took a little hiatus, but we are back. Welcome back to PVT, Player versus Team. I'm your host, Mulich, and I got the fellas with me, my co-host, Willie, and my boy, DJ Micah B.
In the
So,
building.
to pick up where we left off, as we were talking about before, like I said, we had an echo and everything
Oh,
in
shit.
the other room. So we
It's
had to create a
tied.
new room, and we back at it. Yes, it is actually tied up. The 76ers.
Y'all mind telling me what's tied?
Philadelphia and the Knicks.
Yeah, it's
Is this game 5 or game 6?
We are in game 6.
6.
Game 6. We are tied. 11 minutes, 37 seconds to go in the fourth. 83-83.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. If the Sixers win this game, game 7 is gonna be crazy, and the Knicks might be in a little trouble.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Just to pivot before we get into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm loving the pettiness of this. If you guys have been paying attention, the first 2 games or the first few games, the first game I think at Philadelphia, they were overpacked with the Knicks fans, right? So this game, the owner decided to take it upon himself to buy out most of the 76ers tickets that were available, so the Knicks fans couldn't buy them because they didn't want an influx of Knicks fans. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I love this. It's kind of like a tri-state rivalry between the Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers. Really subway train, right? Few hour drive down the freeway. So I'm not gonna lie to you, I love this pettiness, man. I love this. This is bringing back that competitive nature of a basketball that we kind of know and love.
That's Vince McMahon level of petty, though,
isn't it?
That's Vince McMahon level of petty.
I love it.
Okay, so let me tell y'all something real quick. Okay, I didn't realize how close Manhattan and Philadelphia was. I had no idea how close it was. Listen, before y'all say that, I just want to let y'all niggas know I cannot relate to driving 2 hours to be 3 states over. I live in Texas. It takes 2.5 hours from where I live in Texas to get to Louisiana. I can leave from where I am in Texas right now and go to El Paso up north, and it takes 13.5 hours to get to El Paso. I did not know you could drive 2 hours and be in Pennsylvania from New York. That is ridiculous. I can't relate. I just can't.
Now, see, look. To piggyback off that, DJ. To piggyback off that, there was a point in time in college, right, when my boy, he said, "Yeah, we just finna drive down the floor." He went to college at Clark Atlanta University. Shout out to my boy Mike Dub. There's a point in time where he was going to spring break and shit like that down in Miami. He was like, "Yeah, we just finna drive down there." And I'm like, "Bro, you in Georgia, my nigga? Like, how are you finna drive to Florida?" And he like, "Yeah, niggas do that shit all the time. It's only like a 5-hour drive."
Yeah,
y'all don't understand from people like me and DJ Micah B, who come from what I call big states, right? Not small states. We come from big states, abnormally huge states, right? We can drive for 8 hours and still be in the same state. Okay, we can drive for 10 hours and still be in the same fucking state. Okay, hear me now. All right, especially in California, all these peaks and lows and mountains and shit, bro. All right,
bro.
We don't understand the luxury of being able to be in New York 1 hour and then be in fucking Washington D.C. the next hour.
I'm trying to tell you, I don't think people out there understand. Like literally, it takes the amount of time it takes people from New York to get to Pennsylvania, right? It says an hour and 59. 2 hours.
My guy, man.
In those 2 hours, I live in Houston, right outside Houston in the suburbs. In those 2 hours that it takes for you to drive to Pennsylvania and go back to New York, you will beat me to fucking Dallas.
Boom. Just like that.
And if I want to go to a Dallas Mavericks game and I'm in Houston, I got to drive 5.5 hours. Like, I need y'all to understand that.
In the comments, man, live in the comments.
I feel you though, because I'm in Georgia. And it takes me about 5 hours and 19 minutes to get to Tallahassee to see my Seminoles play. So yeah, I feel you.
No, you do not feel me because you're going all the way to Florida.
I feel you.
We're driving 5 hours to stay in Texas.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm trying to tell you.
Bro, I know from Houston to Las Vegas, I think it's 18 hours. 13 hours is in Texas on that drive. Do you
Man,
understand that? The
I'm trying to
longest part of the drive is getting out of Texas.
literally, like literally, that's the biggest thing, right? Because when you're driving, and that's the thing, like you can be in New York, right, and be a New York Knicks fan and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just go drive down to Philly because we finna play Philly. Like if you're like, for instance, like me, right? Like I'm a Warrior fan. Realistically, the only real games that I can actually go to are Kings games, right? Because I live in Sacramento, or I can go a few. It takes me 2 hours to get to the Bay. Just think about that. I live in Sacramento, and it takes me 2 hours to get to the Bay. So if I want to see my Warriors play the Lakers, that's an 8 hour, 9 hour drive. You feel me? Like I'm not doing that. That's just not happening. So it's different levels, right? So I understand that level of pettiness to where he's like, man, they can just drive across town and be like, man, like shoot, they can't get in here, right? And just like my boy said, right? 5 hours in Cali get you from the Bay to Bakersfield, right? And that's not even LA. For most people that don't know California, Bakersfield isn't even Los Angeles yet, right? And if you want to get to San Diego, that's another hour and a half. You know what I'm saying? But I know we talk about time zones and all the stuff like that, but
no, we're not talking about time zones. We're talking about staying in the same state because I'm not understanding. My aunt lives in New York. My aunt lives in New York, in the Bronx, and works in Washington D.C. and she drives an hour and a half every day to work, and she's in Washington. I was like, how does that even happen? I can't relate. I can't drive an hour and a half anywhere from where I'm at in Texas and be in a different state.
It just don't happen like that. It just don't. Even if you're like a fan of a ball club in Texas, it still don't happen like that because you still got to travel years and way out just to see your favorite team. But back to the original point, right? We understand that the playoffs have been probably crazy. What we haven't. You can subscribe on YouTube, Big Dog from the Sideline Podcast. Yep, on YouTube. And we got a whole variety of things that you can watch on there. Got the football show coming up tomorrow. We'll go ahead and give a shout out to that at the end of the show. But just taking an outlook on these playoffs, right? I know we had an echo the last show, so I'm going to go ahead and run down just to get everybody's quick thoughts about the playoffs and how we're feeling. Starting with you, DJ.
I like the playoffs. I love it. I absolutely love it. There is a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for here? A lot of conflict in these playoffs. Giannis and Dame are both hurt. Dame, I understand, came back tonight, but the Bucks went home to the Indiana Pacers. Will give y'all a breakdown on what he said last time because I know there was an echo, but even though he didn't have an echo, but the way he broke it down was absolute facts. I think let's be serious. The Bucks are no longer the young team. They're just not. Bobby Portis isn't young anymore. Giannis isn't really young anymore. Even he's still on the younger side compared to a lot of older players that are still playing. But Tyrese, Miles Turner, all them guys are still under 30. They're also under 30. Dame's what, 33, 34? Giannis, I think, is about 30, 31 now. Like, and even though Giannis didn't play, I do believe Indiana still wins the series without Giannis. And if you know anything about From the Sidelines, you damn well know this. I said at the beginning, the difference of the series is going to be that the Bucks have Doc Rivers and Indiana doesn't. And once again, it proved to be true. The Bucks had Doc Rivers, and that's why their asses are going home. Going to the Mavericks and the Clippers. I don't even know what to say. There's no reason, even though Kawhi isn't playing, there's no reason that the Clippers should be losing this series. But yet here we are. They're down 3-2, and they'll probably be going home after the next game in the first round. I just don't understand how you have Luka and Kyrie playing point guard and shooting guard, and you can't find a way to score the basketball. They're undersized in the backcourt, but you can't find a way to score the basketball and win games. Like it's absolutely ridiculous.
That's a fair point.
Yep.
I don't want to take away nothing from Kyrie and Luka because they are playing phenomenal basketball. But let's be said, these are two of the best. ISO basketball players, two of the best one-on-one players. Paul George is supposed to be one of the better one-on-one defenders, and Paul George should be able to guard Luka and at least match him to an extent or neutralize his overall presence on the court. And he hasn't been doing that. It's embarrassing. I don't even think this series should be at 5 games right now. I think the Clippers should have closed out the series, which begs me to think if the Clippers lose this game, Kawhi Leonard or Paul George will be traded in the offseason, and the James Harden curse just lives on. He can't do it. He can't do it.
That's a good point.
And I thought they were better without James Harden when they made the trade. I really did. I know they went on.
Out on that point.
We really did. You remember on basketball was like, we don't like the trade. And then somebody that was here who will not be named, not here anymore, was always saying, watch, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. And we all said, yes, they will do that in the regular season, but when the postseason comes, if somebody is hurt and it's time for that player named James Harden to answer the call and step up, he's going to fall. We all said he was going to fall short. We all said it. I hate to say it,
last game. 7
but
points.
I'm a Rockets fan, and I saw it time and time and time again. I don't think he underachieved because he didn't win a championship. I think I'm not ignoring the best player is hurt. I just literally said they should be able to win the series with Kawhi Leonard being hurt. Don't do that. I literally said that. Yes, I understand he's been hooping, but when it's time to close out games, at the end of games, when you're supposed to be that guy that you claim you are, you can't do it time and time again. Now, I'm not saying he failed in Houston because I didn't think Houston was ever going to beat Golden State, even if Chris Paul would have played in the games. I still thought that Golden State was going to win. When it counted most, the Rockets went 0 for 27, and Eric Gordon was the best player in Game 7 because Eric Gordon stopped shooting threes and started going to the basket. So, Knicks and Cavs.
Right,
Knicks and Cavs, slugfest. It's a slugfest. I said from the beginning I didn't know who was going to. I said Knicks and Cavs. Lord, Knicks and Sixers. Cavs and Orlando. It's a slugfest. I didn't know who was going to win. I didn't pick anybody before because I was just like, hey, if I have to go with somebody, I'd pick Cleveland just because they have Donovan Mitchell and they have more experience. But it wouldn't surprise me if those young guys in Orlando win the series. So, yeah, that's my recap of the playoffs so far, man. It's been very, very good. I'm not going to talk about Boston and the Heat. Obviously, Jimmy Butler was hurt, but I still think the Celtics win the series. Sorry, Jeremy. I know you're somewhere listening, and you really wanted Eric Spoelstra and company to pull it off, but no, I never thought they were actually going to win that series. I always thought Boston was going to win. And I do think Boston should win their second-round matchup, even though Porzingis isn't scheduled to come back until the Eastern Conference Finals.
Really? What you thinking?
Damn.
Crazy, actually, for him to be out that long.
Damn. I'll reiterate what I said before about the Bucks. Look, they're an older team. If you can control pace, which 9 times out of 10 teams will, particularly a younger team, i.e. Indiana, they push tempo. By pushing tempo, you make those old guys have to work, and they can't cover. I don't care if they can't cover. They can play no defense. With Drew Holiday gone, that defense has become non-existent. And Dame, I love Dame on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, he's like a turnstile defensively. Turnstile. One move, bam, bam, gone. Giannis can still do his thing, but again, he's getting to be the younger side of 30. That team needs to get more athletic because these teams are not getting older. These teams are getting younger.
That is true.
And go back, and I hate to say this because I'm not a fan for anybody losing their job, but Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers. I didn't like the fact you took the job the way you did. And it looks like you're going to be on a hot seat and you might end up losing this job for your first round exit.
Seems like there might be a lot of coaching changes going into the offseason.
Might be. Just might be. it's not just coaching changes that need to be looked at. We need to look at GM changes too. GM changes too.
Front office is going to get some shakeups.
We need some shakeups in the front office, i.e., the Lakers. We need some. We need some front office shakeups too. But Milwaukee's an older team. They're a slower team. They're not a defensive team like they used to be anymore. Push tempo on them. We can cause pressure. They will. They can't keep up. They'll lose because of transition defense. And you saw that tonight with 120-96. Milwaukee goes home. I also agree with DJ about the Clippers. I thought the Clippers will win this particular. Well, yes, we can blame Doc for. Yes, we can blame Doc. Yes, we can. The way he did the job was messed up. You must not have heard the rumors how he got that job. But the Clippers and Dallas, I'm sort of kind of shocked Dallas is where they are right now. Yes, they have two great individual offensive players. You would expect at least for Paul George to stop or maybe try to contain Luka. He can't do it. And I agree with DJ as well. He's not Batman anymore. He's Robin. He's Robin. That's all he is. And now you're going to have to make a choice. Do you want someone who is always hurt, as in Kawhi, or do you want somebody who comes up small in the playoffs like Paul George? Pick your poison.
That's a good point, Sean. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Pick your poison. Cleveland, Orlando did this punchers battle. That's a
basically pick them at this point.
Yeah, it's a pick 'em at this point. That's a battle. I go with Cleveland because you got Mitchell and you have more experience on that roster. But if Orlando wins, I would not be shocked. They were coached. They play good defense. They lack firepower, but they're a great defensive team, and they're doing their thing. Right now, we got New York and Philly. Man, all I got is shout out to Tyrese Maxey. And I sort of kind of,
I'm not gonna lie, he's been balling.
And I sort of kind of feel for Maxey.
As soon as you called his name, too.
Joel's hurt. He's not.
He's definitely not 100% right now.
He's not 100% at all. Tyrese need people. Maxey need people to come with him. And I just feel for him, man. Because if you have a healthy Embiid, they win that series. If you have a healthy Embiid, they win that series.
Embiid, definitely.
But yeah, if you have a healthy Embiid, they win that series. Right now, you have Kelly Oubre with 8 points. That don't make no sense. I'm sorry, he's got 12 points. That don't make no sense. Joel Embiid got 35 for the night. But can you look at Tyrese Maxey with 10?
Hey, I understand and I respect this level of saltiness. I'm not even gonna lie. I love this. I absolutely love this because
real quick.
Yeah.
And I gotta say this. Another dude I don't like is playing well right now. Shout out to Buddy Hield. He got 20. And Batum's got and Nicholas Batum, he's got 15. But Joel's hurt. He's carrying the thing. He needs help. Tyrese Maxey needs help. And right now they look like they're going home.
I mean, to give my quick little rundown about this first round, right? First of all, I knew that the Heat would get one game on the Celtics. I knew that the Celtics would ultimately win, but I knew the Heat was going to get one game. This Cavs Magic series, like I said, this was the one that I felt like was going to go 7. Outside of the 76ers and Knicks, we'll see how that goes tonight. But I felt like this was going to go 7, mainly because Orlando was a really good team. They started to play really well as of late, and they're really good defensively. Specifically, Jamal Mosley had defensive adjustments. The Bucks and the Pacers, I had a feeling that the Bucks, if they matched up with the Pacers, that they were going to lose their series. It came true. Even with Giannis, I just don't think that that the Bucks were really that good going forward. I know they started to cap off some games and some streaks late, but they just didn't look like the same team. And I think what Sean said with the front office, although Doc has to take a lot of blame for the adjustments, I do think that the front office ultimately firing Adrian Griffin has a lot to do with it. I understand that he had a lot of stuff going on in the background, which ultimately probably cost him his job. But I do think that there are probably more viable options out there other than Doc Rivers that you could probably.
You should have.
Hey,
Move. You should have went. If you didn't want to keep Adrian Griffin, and I understand if you didn't want to keep him, that's fine. I would have brought old boy back from last year before I would have went and got Doc Rivers. I really would have.
Hey, Move.
That's not a bad idea though.
I really wouldn't have got him back.
Hey, I'm not gonna let Sean off that easy because I see what you're doing here. But let me tell you why I'm not gonna let him off. He said Doc ain't make them trade Drew for Dame, but Adrian Griffin had them 33-13 when Dame was there before Doc Rivers took over. So you're not gonna sit here and say the reason why they were losing is because they traded Drew for Dame. That's not what it is. They were a very, very good winning team. They were number one in the NBA and number two back and forth with the Celtics until they fired Adrian Griffin, a head coach that was winning games, hella games with the Bucks, and then they replaced him with Doc. Don't do that. Yes, we are going to blame Doc. Doc is going to take a lot of the game. He's going to take a lot of the blame.
Tell me, somebody need to explain something to me because I see a lot of dudes posted and holding up for Doc Rivers. I have a question. When was Doc Rivers ever this great X's and O's coach? When? He has always been off talent and rah-rah. He's never been that dude that's been an X's and O's type of guy.
Well, you guys, you got to close out. You run. Yeah. You got to run, guys. Run.
Hey,
close up a rebound.
You should have brought Mike Budenholzer back before you would have brought Doc Rivers in.
Yes, they lost first round last year too. But Adrian Griffin was not the coach when they lost in the first round last year.
Exactly.
And here we are again.
Exactly.
It was Mike Budenholzer.
Yep.
So Willie, to answer your question, to who said Doc Rivers that guy? I did not say. I'm telling you, Doc Rivers is the guy that is making them lose. Didn't say Doc Rivers that guy to make them win.
Yes.
I'm responding to your exact quote when you said I'm not willfully ignoring your point. You straight up just said they lost in the first round last year. Adrian Griffin wasn't the coach. You also said Doc Rivers didn't make him trade Drew for Dame, but Adrian Griffin was there with Dame instead of Drew, and they were winning. I'm not willfully ignoring your point. You're ignoring my point that when Doc Rivers came, that's when they started losing.
I think his point is that blaming Doc for the team losing is kind of moot because the front office fired Adrian Griffin when the team was on top.
But his original point, his original point literally just said, and you put up on the screen was, hey, it's not his fault they traded Dame for Drew. But Adrian Griffin was there at the beginning of the season when Dame was already there. So that is a point that doesn't even make sense for him to bring up.
This is true.
I've never seen one coach.
But also true, the Bucks also chose to fire fire Milwaukee. Like I said, it may have been because of his shit that was going on behind the scenes. We all ultimately don't know because it may have been alleged. We don't know. But the trade or the firing of Adrian Griffin should ultimately have a part to play in the Bucks.
You know why that man was fired. That man was fired because he was talking trash about Giannis's brother. And if
I don't know. He probably was. He probably was. You know, Giannis don't play about his brother, so he probably was. He probably said that nigga ain't got no bag.
But he was speaking truth. He does suck. And B, if that's enough to get you fired, if being truthful is enough to get you fired, no, you don't do that to a winning club. You don't do that. You bit off you kind of bit off the hand that feeds you. You don't do stuff like they were playing.
Well, and then he also added that it might have been Giannis's fault as well because at the same time, Giannis had they literally gave Giannis the choice on which coach that he would want to go with, and he denied. I think it was bringing back Budenholzer and them hiring Nick Nurse, which ultimately made him, I think, go to the Sixers, right?
Yeah,
that's wild that he denied Nick Nurse. I would have took Nick Nurse.
Exactly. So that's kind of his point, is saying like, yeah, Doc is. You can blame Doc, and I can understand why, because his defensive adjustments, right? The offense is all over the fucking place. I understand why people would blame Doc, right? And I can definitely understand that as well, right? But at the same time, we can't absolve the Bucks front office from blame because you're firing a coach at the prime of the team being a number two.
And that's what. And that's why I said. And that's why I said earlier on my tape.
Yep. Front office needs to be changed.
Some of these DMs need to be looked at too.
Most definitely, because that is critical. You don't fire a winning coach when they're number two and one of the best defensive teams in the league for somebody who's literally in the booth, right? And on top of that, having Giannis literally verbally say that he doesn't want Budenholzer back and want Nick Nurse, somebody who's a really, really good coach, is definitely something.
Can I also say you didn't wait to do this at the end of the season? You chose to do it at the beginning of in the middle of the season for a firing of a successful head coach. Stupid.
That's a good point. That's a very fair point. And like we're saying, we don't know the situation that happened between Adrian Griffin in behind the scenes, because there was a lot of speculation about a whole bunch of stuff as to why he may have gotten fired. We ultimately don't know. It's just that the decision that was made in the middle of the season by the front office of the Milwaukee Bucks probably cost them the playoffs, honestly.
Yep.
But back to the first round of this. I thought the Pelicans were probably going to sneak a game only because they're a scrappy team, even without Zion and their stars, even without BI. But OKC just had too much. Their young stars, more particularly Jalen Williams, the way he's been playing has been outstanding. Shea has been playing actually pretty shaky, if you've really been paying attention. So with the way Chet's been playing, with the way Jalen's been playing, with the way Lou Dort's been playing, they've actually been really, really good. I think Daignault is a really, really good coach. I think he's coming for a lot of people's heads right now because a lot of people are kind of writing him off with him being kind of unknown and having a young team. So shout out to OKC. I think they might surprise a lot of people. Clippers
can I say this real quick too?
Go ahead.
CJ McCollum, bruh.
That's true.
Bruh.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead, cook on CJ.
Bruh, you got to get better, man. This is another series. You came up small as hell. Look, respect to you as a person. Respect you for the stuff that you bring to the table, but at the end of the day, it's about your performance on a basketball court. You gotta come through. You gotta show up. This team needs you, and you failed once again. And now you see why Portland didn't do what they needed to do. Dame was doing everything. CJ was coming up small in the biggest games that they needed him. CJ, you got to get better, bro.
That is one thing I will say. CJ definitely needs to show up in the playoffs.
This might be half hot, half cool take with CJ McCollum. I just want to let everybody know out there, CJ McCollum has never been a number one player in his life.
Absolutely not. That's for sure. That's for sure true.
CJ McCollum hasn't made a single All-Star game. Well, I lied. I think he made one now. He made one. He made one as an injury replacement.
He was a reserve. Yeah, he was a reserve.
Yeah. But CJ has never had to carry a team by himself. CJ is a very good player, but when he is the person they have to focus on, he's never been that guy. Dame was the guy that was double teamed. Dame was the guy that was keyed on all the time. CJ McCollum was expected to cook playing off of Dame, which he was very good at. CJ McCollum was expected to cook when you had a number one player, and he was a good number two. So I would say I'm not saying he shouldn't have played better, but I'm also not going to sit here and act like, bro.
Talking about CJ McCollum, man.
I'm also not going to sit here and say,
I see what you're saying, because like I said, there's no Zion. There's no Zion. Ingram's coming up hurt.
Right.
Getting back. So I see what you're saying.
Comment of the night.
And I personally also think you just saw why CJ McCollum has never been asked to be the best player on a team.
Right.
This is it right here. He's a complimentary star. He's a complimentary star. And I can respect that he's a complimentary star and he cannot be the main guy. I think CJ McCollum knows he can't be the main guy, and it's okay. Hey, look, it's okay. Not everybody could be the second guy to be relied on, and then when your main person goes down, you can't carry the load. That's okay. So
would you say if they had a healthy Ingram, a healthy Zion, he should be your third scorer?
Yes, I do.
I think that was the plan going in.
I think that was the plan. So with Ingram not being 100% healthy and Zion being out, you has to be the third best player on the team to jump into the first best player on the team to beat a team that has a healthy 1, 2, and 3. Yep. And it's just not going to happen. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. And so I don't really hold it against them. The defense was keyed on you because they were like, hey, he's the healthiest and best player on their team right now. It's not Zion, it's not Brandon Ingram. So OKC did not play down to the level of their competition.
No, they did not.
They went in there and took care of business.
They did. I just looked for him because all the adversity on that team, for them to be successful, I was looking at him to step it up like we see other athletes do. He just didn't do it. And that was kind of disappointing to me because
I don't think he's capable of doing it.
Now I don't think he is either. But, I'm just looking at him to take that next step and show true leadership on a team that needed it, and he didn't do it.
Well, I think he has good leadership qualities. He just can't lead by example.
Right.
Oh no, definitely. Yeah. I think when it comes to CJ McCollum, he can definitely be a vocal leader, right? Yeah. President of the NBA,
the Players Association, isn't it?
Yeah, Player Association, right? Like great podcast, great. All right, we get it, right? He went from a small school, so he's on himself. We definitely understand, right? But as far as leading by example, I think that ultimately your biggest moments have to come in the playoffs or at the biggest moments, and he just failed to shine at those moments on a more consistent basis than inconsistent basis, I guess.
What I will say is that y'all remember those Rockets teams from the 2000s when there was Tracy McGrady, Yao Ming, and Shane Battier?
Yep.
Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming both said that Shane Battier was the vocal leader in the locker room. I think that's what they brought CJ McCollum in to do, because Shane Battier was pretty much the third best player on the team, whether it was defensive wise or knocking down the three consistently. And I think that's where CJ is in his career. And he was not prepared to come to New Orleans and have to be the guy at this point in his career.
Honestly, I think that's fair. Now about this Clippers Mavs matchup, I know they're at 3-2 right now going into tomorrow's game. But just looking at how the Clippers are playing, I understand Kawhi's not 100% right now, and I figured that was going to be a problem coming into the playoffs anyway. As soon as I seen him play 10 games in a row, I was like, oh yeah, he's not going to make it to the playoffs. Not even going to lie to you, he's not going to make it to the playoffs. Just knowing Kawhi and knowing how his body holds up, I was like, yeah, no. 10 games in a row, there's no way that man making it to the playoffs. I'm not even going to fuck with it. And that's no hate on Kawhi. I just know. Like, when you know.
Oh, man. You're looking at past performance is what you're looking at.
This is true. New Orleans curse. They be out there committing voodoo on niggas, and that's the reason why they out there eating gumbo and pulling hamstrings and getting hurt and all kind of shit.
They be trying to pull that swamp magic on your ass.
Hurricane be blowing the balls and shit everywhere, going off the drug and shit. But I just think that the Clippers, when it comes to their stars, I just think they go cold in the wrong moments, right? Like even without Kawhi, I thought that this series was winnable, but I think that they go cold in the wrong moments, and with a matchup like Luka, you can't go cold in those moments, because even if somebody like Kyrie isn't having a good game or PJ Washington isn't having a good game, like the shit that Luka does in the moments that he does it is just absolutely crazy. And like it's very Knicks-esque. And when I say that, as I'm watching this game, is the Knicks as a team make really big plays at really big moments. But Luka as a player, when you're lacking as a team, makes really big plays in really big moments, and he capitalizing it on more ways than one. So I just think that I think that if Kawhi, for one, if he would have been able to stay healthy for a long time, his career would definitely actually be fucking crazy the way his playoff percentage, win percentage was. But yeah, no, definitely. I think more. Honestly, I think it's more of his defensive presence that they're missing right now. More not only in the post but on the wing. His ability to get in the passing lanes, his ability to create turnovers, and just how big and long he is. His hands, being able to change the trajectory of balls and change the trajectory of shots. I think that is ultimately what's missing from the Clippers. I don't think that they're necessarily playing bad. I just think that they're missing one of their key defensive pieces, and it's really hurting them in spots where the Mavs can really pick it up and really hurt them on that to where they're lacking. So I just think that wrong time that Kawhi's hurt, and kind of just the wrong time for the Clippers offensively to kind of fall apart. But that is definitely one thing I'll say that Luka, it's really been a team effort on the Dallas behalf, and they're just capitalizing on the Clippers mishaps. Honestly, like the last game, there was nothing that either one that Kyrie and Luka really did special. It was really just the Clippers had a horrible game. Like the Clippers had a horrible game because Kyrie didn't really have a good game last game, but Luka had a good game last game. The game before that, where they lost, Kyrie dropped 40, and Luka really didn't have a good game like that. And the Clippers, so it's really just them just having a bad game. And I knew that series was going to go back and forth, but I thought that this series was going to be more of a dogfight because we kind of know the history of these two teams. So I think this one's going to be interesting going forward. And depending on depending on how PG and Harden looks, and more importantly, how Russ and Norman Powell look off the bench, I think this might be another pick'em series for both these teams, just depending on how everything goes. Timberwolves and Suns, y'all are a disappointment. Timberwolves, y'all are a disappointment. Disappointment. Oh no, Suns, y'all are disappointment. I'm sorry. Suns, y'all are disappointment. Y'all are disappointment. Y'all are disappointment. 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 Y'all should be ashamed. Okay? Ashamed.
And you want to talk about the curse of the Pelicans? Look at the KD curse.
I mean, like I said, on Basket to Basket, he left his boys. You feel me? Because when he came to the Bay, Lil B lifted the Bay Scott curse off of him so he can win his 2 chips. And then he left, and then the curse just went back in full effect. So that you know what you got to do, KD. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Anthony Edwards is him. He's Michael Jordan's illegitimate son. We all know it now. It's been confirmed. So just get out the way because he's probably coming. I'm not gonna lie to you. This league is probably his in the next few years. The Nuggets, we called y'all losing. We talked about this on Monday.
Nuggets don't get it together. They can lose this series.
Like the Lakers, y'all suck. I don't care. This is true, and I said this before we got off air earlier. Is that y'all traded y'all whole goddamn bench and y'all whole team for Beal, and
we said it as soon as it happened last year.
Where did it get you? Where did it get you? Right? There's actually we actually gonna get into it a little later. We actually gonna get into this a little later, man. You feel me? Don't even worry about it. We can get into that a little later. But like I said, Lakers y'all suck. Lakers y'all suck. Fuck the Lakers. I don't care. Fuck the Lakers. As always, fuck the Lakers.
I agree. Fuck them.
Before we go any further, I just want to stop y'all real quick, just for 2 minutes, for in the comments. And Sean said that Luka hasn't been the best player in the series for the Mavs. I absolutely 100% disagree. But the Mavs wouldn't win these games if Kyrie wasn't balling. Luka has been the best player in the series.
Yes,
definitely. He's been the best. He's been the best player on the Mavericks in the series. I think he's been the best player in the series overall. But if Kyrie wasn't there along for the ride, then yes. If Kyrie wasn't balling the way he is, I think Kyrie's the most important player in the series, but Luka has been the best player in the series. And it's not even close, especially if you're looking up stats and things of that nature. So that's all I wanted to say. Luka has definitely been the best player, though.
Man, like I said earlier, the Knicks just They hit timely buckets at timely times, bro. Goodness gracious. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
the Knicks are
bro.
good at that.
Y'all can't win this, bro. God, every time Philly, I don't know if y'all watching this game, but every time Philly punches, bro, the Knicks up, they Mike Tyson, bro. Like it's like a baby jab and Mike Tyson. You feel me? Right here, boom, uppercut, done. You're done. You feel me? It's the craziest fucking thing ever, bro. But
You can sit there and say we're not debating, but I can sit here and read off stats and Luka is outscoring, out assisting, and damn near out rebounding everybody in this series, except a couple. He's not out rebounding a couple of people on the Clippers, but on his team, he's leading in all of that. All of it. Kyrie is this, I guess you would say, the second closest player to Luka, but it's not. Points 151 to 129, not close. 30.2 to 25.8. Total rebounds 46 to 28. 44 assists to 24. Like Luka's been the best player in the series, but Kyrie has been the most important player in the series, especially the Dallas, because he's right there with Luka balling out. And that's what I'm saying. The most important player don't have to be the best player in the series.
I can understand that point. I can understand that opinion. Now
Efficiency does matter. Kyrie is more efficient because they're more double teaming Luka than they are Kyrie. So the defense is keying on Luka, and Luka is still doing what he's doing, outscoring, out rebounding, out assisting everybody on his team. Kyrie is being more efficient right now because they're keying on Luka.
I definitely worry about efficiency. I'm not gonna lie to you. Definitely, efficiency definitely does matter to me for sure. Because if you just chucking shit,
I'm not skipping shooting percentages. I'm not skipping shooting percentages. I'm saying they're keying on Luka, and Kyrie is capitalizing when they're keying on Luka. My dog.
Are these niggas gonna do it again? Sorry, this next game is crazy. But to preview some matches before the next for the next round. Nuggets Timberwolves. What we thinking?
I'm telling y'all, and everybody laughing at me when I say this. Let Denver come out there slow. Let Denver come out here lethargic in these first halves against Minnesota. Let that happen. They split in the regular season. Denver, you're gonna have to bring it. You're gonna have to. This is your young team.
It's crazy.
This is your young team with a young team with a superstar player. You're gonna have to bring your A game to beat these Timberwolves. They're young and they're hungry. You're gonna have to bring your A game. This ain't playing D'Angelo Russell. This ain't it. You need to go out there and make sure you bring your A game, because in the backcourt, you pretty much mismatch with Edwards. Murray can do his thing to a certain extent, but again, the matchup's going to be tough. Denver gonna have to bring the A game. Michael Porter Jr. is great, and that's fine, but Cat's right there. So you got to bring your A game, because this team beats you on your floor this season. You split the season series on each other's floor. So you're gonna have to bring your A game, because if you don't, they can lose. He's laughing at me now. Everybody's been laughing at me since I said this. But go back and look at the Timberwolves. They're good. They're well coached. They have a good rotation. I'm not the biggest Rudy Gobert fan, and I think Cat take too many damn threes. But outside of that, they're a good team. And I just think if Denver don't bring their A game, they can lose. See, everybody laughing at me since I say this.
Go ahead, DJ Michael B.
Go ahead, DJ.
Oh man. I just want to make this perfectly clear. Everything that you just said is absolutely the fuck right. And I was going to bring this up. Who is going to guard Anthony Edwards? You can't leave it up to bad back Michael Porter Jr. because he'll be out.
Yep.
After getting dunked on.
He said bad back Michael Porter Jr.
If you move Aaron Gordon to guard Anthony Edwards and leave Michael Porter Jr. on Karl Anthony Towns, he's too small to guard Karl Anthony Towns. This is a bad matchup, bro.
It's terrible.
This is a bad matchup. It's a bad matchup for the Nuggets. And if they don't do everything perfect, they can lose this. They will lose this series. Not can. They will lose the series if everything doesn't go perfect in this. I'm talking about Jokic has to go for a triple-double every night. Jamal Murray has to go for 25 plus with 8 or 9 assists every single night. Michael Porter got to shoot lights out because it's a bad matchup. It's very bad. I don't know, bro. I'm leaning towards the Timberwolves in this series. It's
I'm
very,
getting there.
very bad.
I'm getting there.
I don't think it's a good matchup. And the Timberwolves are so good that Rudy Gobert doesn't have to score unless he's catching lobs and dunking the ball. It's bad, bro. It's a bad matchup.
And I've been saying this all season. The Nuggets ain't gonna repeat. I know a lot of people have been on that train that the Nuggets is gonna repeat, but I've been saying it all season. They're a different team. They just look different. I know a lot of people don't really believe in this, but championship drunk is a thing, and I think they kind of championship drunk right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're kind of play lackadaisical sometimes, and sometimes they play up to where they were on the championship level last year. I think the ultimate difference is that the T-Wolves have put all of their faith and trust into Anthony Edwards, and regardless of if Cat's on the floor or not, they believe that that's their guy, and he's going to take them to the promised land. And I ultimately believe that too. The way he's been playing as of late, especially in the playoffs, has been out of this fucking world. And with you pair that with how just the supporting cast is playing, Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, Cat coming back, Jaden McDaniels not punching on walls and being able to be healthy. He's literally the best wing defender in the fucking league.
Yep.
So just pairing all that together, they've taken off, and they've looked great defensively. They look amazing offensively, and I think they're one of the teams. Just like Willie said, they split the season, and I think they're one of the teams that can run and gun with the Nuggets, team wise, right? Because the Nuggets beat you with the team. Right, they beat you. Aaron Gordon's going to have 15. Jamal Murray is going to have 20. Jokic is going to have 35 and 10. Michael Porter Jr. is going to have 15. Like, this is how they're going to beat you. But at the same time, if you look at it, like Anthony Edwards, he's going to give you 35. Like Cat, he's going to give you 20 to 22. You know what I'm saying?
Big facts, Sean.
That's the biggest thing right there. You got the biggest thing. A lot of people don't realize. A motivated Mike Conley is a dangerous one.
He ain't
a very dangerous player.
Hey, he ain't D'Angelo Russell. He's
a very dangerous player.
Hey, and not only that, if Mike Conley's shot ain't on, he will affect the game in other ways, especially by playing defense. Because Mike Conley is a very good defender, bro.
A very underrated, scary defender. And this is the thing. This is the reason why I love this comment, right? Because we haven't seen this Conley in a few years since the last time that the Grizzlies.
Probably the bubble.
Yep, the bubble.
The bubble, I would say the bubble, but even before that, when the Grizzlies were good and he was that number one guy, right? But now he can sit here and take a step back and just like I was about to say, and let his leadership take the role, right? Because he's been here before. He understands these scenarios. He's understanding the situation. So he can just sit back and let his young guys take the wheel. But hey, I'm just going to guide you on where to go and how to do this shit. And he's fucking balling right now. His assist is through the roof. His defense, his perimeter defense is scary as hell. Him and Jaden McDaniels on the perimeter is absolutely terrifying. And I really think that they got the Nuggets number in not only defense. I think they're going to make it hard for MPJ to not only score on the perimeter because that's where he's been dangerous at as of late, especially against the Lakers. We all know that if you neutralize Jokic's passing ability, especially on the inside, it's hard. It's hard for the Nuggets to win. And if you neutralize Aaron Gordon on those cuts, which Rudy Gobert has been playing a lot better on the inside and on the outside. This isn't a good one. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Just can I also say too that they have a front court that they can rotate. They take on Booker with Towns, Reed, and Gobert. I mean,
not to mention, I think the most important thing is they're gonna come out more motivated because of Chris Finch not really being able to be on the sideline for the first few games, or really for the series because of his knee injury. He got injured the last game during the elimination game where Mike Conley ran into him. I definitely feel his pain as somebody who's tore his patella tendon. Personally, I understand the pain that he is going through. So please heal up, right, Chris Finch. We're definitely rooting for you to get healthy. But I think we're going to see a more motivated Minnesota team because one, they're going against the back to it. They're going against the defending champs. They feel like they feel like they should have been there last year had it not been for injuries, had it not been for a whole bunch of bullshit happening, suspensions because Rudy Gobert want to punch on his teammate and a whole bunch of crazy stuff. They feel like they should have been that team last year. So I think that there's going to be a whole bunch of turmoil, and I think they're going to come out super motivated to not only win this game but to win this series. And I don't think that the Nuggets are really prepared for what the Timberwolves are ready to bring, especially if you don't get consistent. And I think this is the point that we didn't bring up on Monday, DJ, is if the Nuggets don't get a consistent Jamal Murray, this series is over.
Mm-hmm.
This is not going to be a good series for the Nuggets because
Mm-hmm.
there's no way
nightmare.
to beat them. There's no way
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare matchup. It is a nightmare matchup for the Nuggets. And if there's any team in the West that can beat the Nuggets, it's
the
Timberwolves.
T-Wolves. Mm-hmm.
It's a nightmare matchup.
All right. So the reason why we've gathered here, gentlemen, is because like the title says, as you see on the thumbnail, right? It's the end of an era. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James are all out of the playoffs, right? I want to ask you guys this question. Is it time for the young guys to finally take that big step, that big leap, and start to be the new faces of the league? Or do we still have the OGs of the vets of the league that still have a little bit in the tank? They're probably going to rattle off a few more chips depending on where they go, who they team up with. Or the young guys league, man. The young guys saying, nah, go sit your old ass down somewhere. DJ, I'm going to start with you.
This is definitely the end of an era. It's over. A lot of this era continued from when I left high school and was in college. It's over, bro. It's over. I think last year when the Nuggets won a championship, it proved it was over. It's definitely over. Boston beating Miami. Even I know Jimmy wasn't there, but Boston beating Miami. Jimmy comes back next year. He's another. I think Jimmy will be 36 or 37 next year by the playoffs roll around. Unless that's right, Sean. Unless all these older guys team up and put up, and not even that. I mean, we just seen the older guys team. We're watching the older guys team up now with Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook.
That's a fair point.
Like we're seeing it now. I think it's over, bro. We're at the point where Steph, KD, Bron, Klay Thompson, all these guys. We're at the point where we should just start talking about their legacies. Because I don't think in any of their current situations, I don't think Steph could be the number one on Golden State. He could probably still be a legit number one if he has a good number two and a good team. But Steph is not. Steph is at the point where he can't carry a team anymore. He can't carry. LeBron is at the point where he can't carry a team anymore. KD, well, y'all know how I feel about KD. I never thought KD carried a team regardless. So
True that.
At least by himself, because I thought when he was in OKC and they got to the finals, it was him and Russ.
That makes sense.
So yeah. He said, I'm not ready to talk about Klay yet. Me either.
Me either. Don't worry about it, dog. Trust me, I get it.
It's the end of an era, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get into the legacies of each player as we move forward with this thing. Just to before I stop with this, how I feel about the legacy of Steph and Bron in this era is exactly how I felt about Kobe and Tim Duncan in the 2000s. They went back and forth, trading championship after championship. Of course, Tim Duncan got the late one in the early 2010s to tie Kobe. But that's how I feel. I mean, they're four apiece.
I think
on his team every single time. I think Steph was the best player on his team twice. Andre Iguodala won one of the MVPs that Steph probably should have won. But the series did turn when Andre Iguodala got into the starting lineup and started guarding Bron. So, I mean, hey, It's the end of an era. The 20.
I don't know if DJ's experiencing storms.
He might be
right
He
now.
might be. He might be.
Willie, go ahead. What we thinking? End of an era, or do these young or did the OGs got one more in them? A few more in them.
I think the only one that might have it is Steph. But I think Bron and I think KD's done. Unless they go somewhere to where they're not the main guys anymore. I think they're done. I think the only reason why Steph can do it because it's his age. He's the youngest of the three. And his game can pretty much incorporate with any team. But it's time to let the young dudes move over. It's time to let the Chats, the Wimbies. I'll count Giannis there, but because he's not as old, he's more like Steph's age or close to it. But it's time to let the young guys move over, man, and let them do their thing. And this would sort of kind of reminds me of when Magic and Bird were on the way out and Jordan took over. It sort of kind of reminds me
New
of that.
sheriff in town.
Yeah, new sheriff in town, man. And in this case, you have sheriffs that's moving in on the NBA and taking over. So I think it's time, and it's not going to do anything because with the way the NBA was built, it was made this way so the next wave can come over, take over and reap the benefits of what the older players did. So I think it's about time to let the young cats come in, take over, and do their thing. It's not going to do anything but enhance the league and make the league better. Because what's the thing that gets the league over each and every game? The fans. The fans are going to be excited to see this young talent. They'll go out there and spend the money on the jerseys. They'll go out there and spend the money on the NBA league pass, things of that nature. Yeah, let these young guys come in and cook.
I feel that. I definitely.
Hey, move.
Go ahead. I think he might have froze again, but I'm just looking up the ages of. Okay, so you got Jamal Murray is 27. Nikola Jokic is DJ, you back? What was you finna say, DJ? You cut out.
Oh, I was gonna say I think we can settle on LeBron and Steph passing the torch to Ant-Man now for the face of American basketball, or to Jason Tatum. They can split it. I think we have the generational talents now. We were lacking for a while with the gap between LeBron and Steph for a couple of years because people were like, hey, maybe it's Cat, maybe it's Joel Embiid. No, it's definitely Ant and Jason Tatum now, and they'll take it and run with it.
I think so, honestly, because I remember when people were trying to say it was Booker and it might have been Ja, maybe it might have been Luka, maybe it might have been, but honestly, I think you're spot on with Jason Tatum and Anthony Edwards because.
But either way, basketball is in good hands.
Yeah, either way, honestly, when you just look at the route in which basketball is going, I think it is in good hands. Ultimately, I think that we are at the end of an era. I think as hard as it is for people to accept, right? Speaking realistically, is we've seen a lot of these guys play for over 10, 15 years. You feel me? Like LeBron's been here for 20 years. Steph is going on year 16 next year. KD's going on year 16 next year. Like a lot of these guys have been in the league for 12 plus years. So I know it's hard to see your favorite players kind of take their exit and look vulnerable because we've spent so many times and so much and so long seeing them do shit that is superhuman that we can't fucking believe, right? Like the LeBron career highlight reel, the Steph Curry career highlight reel, the Kevin Durant career highlight reel, like those are going to be played and talked about for years and years and years and years and years and years and years to come, right? Mainly because of just all the electrifying shit that a lot of these kids nowadays have seen them do. I think DJ is going through some things right now. He's dropping out. He's going across the stage right now, so we're going to go and clap for him when he gets back. I think that it's definitely hard, right? Especially not only for fans, but for the players to kind of see the end of the tunnel coming and focusing on or start to trend to focusing on what they're going to do post basketball. Whether that be the big three, whether that be business ventures, whether that be movies, whether that be production, whatever the case may be, because rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, he started to go into books and movies as well. So It just kind of depends on what they want to take their talents and where they want to go after that.
Okay.
Welcome back, DJ Micah B.
Welcome back, bro. Welcome back, bro.
Yeah. I had to go get my GED real quick.
Exactly. That's why you got that round of applause. You feel me? You got that round of applause. My boy got that GED. Education. But I do think it's ultimately the end of an era. I think these guys, kind of like my boy Sean Wright said in the comments, man. I think the only way to kind of get one off is you guys team up. Y'all got to go to a squad or respective squad. Hopefully, it's the Warriors and win the championship, win one more, and then right off into the sunset.
Everybody takes the sacrifice money wise.
It won't be the Warriors.
Money wise.
Everybody takes the sacrifice money wise.
It won't be the Warriors.
Let me dream. All right. Let me dream for a little bit. Right. Take a little sacrifice money wise, and then y'all can go ahead, come to the Warriors, come to the Bay. I know y'all love it down here anyway. And win a championship, and then right up into the sunset, bro. It's good.
What if LeBron get everybody? What if LeBron get everybody to the Lakers?
I don't think
I would hate existence for the rest of time.
I don't think Steph would go to the Lakers to help Bron win another championship.
I don't think so
right now
either.
he's tied. Yeah. They're tied up right now. So I don't think he would do it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But I wanted to ask you guys this, right? Because Nikola Jokic is 29, Giannis is 29, Jamal Murray is 27. I'm just going over the latest champions outside of Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, right? Outside of those three guys, right? Because they're kind of looked at as kind of like the middle pack or the bridge between the OGs or the vets and the young guys, right? Outside of those three guys, Giannis, Jokic, Jamal Murray. Which young guy do you think is going to win the first championship? Is it going to be Luka, Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, right? Tyrese Halliburton? Who are we thinking? DJ, I'm going to start with you.
If you
We got Tyrese Halliburton in this question.
I mean, he did happen to cap off a win against the Bucks, so I feel like he might deserve a nod.
He did.
Last year, I'd have definitely went with Tatum. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, dog. Anthony Edwards is him.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan Jr.
He looks like Michael Jordan too. I mean, we've been sitting here talking about Jimmy Butler being Michael Jordan's son. Maybe it's time we shifted that to Anthony Edwards, bro. I don't know. This dude's mentality is just his mentality is it.
Different, definitely different.
For sure.
Willie, what we thinking?
I got to go with Anthony Edwards too. He's got that dog in him. He's got that dog and that willpower. I would go right after him. And if I can't have Edwards, then I don't want Luka. But I think that Edwards is that guy. He's posed to take it. He's just 22 years old. He's pretty much the leader of that Timberwolves team. They look to be relying on him. So yeah, I will go with Edwards first, and then if I couldn't get Edwards to do it, I will look at Luka.
That makes sense. I'm leaning more towards Anthony Edwards as well. Just seeing what he did last year in the playoffs, or in the play-in, and in the first round in the playoffs, and then this year in the playoffs, it's just he's on a different tier, right? And depending on if they do get to the finals or the Western Conference Finals, and depending on how they play or how he plays, I think it's only going to solidify his status. With Jason Tatum, I think that he has to, make it back to the finals. I think that's the big part. And he has to win the finals, and he has to win it convincingly. And I think the biggest part for Jason Tatum is kind of separating himself from Jaylen Brown, right? Because I think that they're more of a 1A, 1A1 type of thing, or
1A, 1B
type of thing. I don't even know if it's like 1A, 1B.
Boo-Wop somewhere punching the air right now, dog, and he want to punch you for saying that.
I'm just saying, bro, like when you look at it, when you look at that team and how it's built and how it's constructed, I understand that that's supposed to be Jason Tatum's team, but at the same time, without the contributions of Jaylen Brown, I don't think that team is the same team. And I think that there may be a conversation down the line in the future of whose team actually is it. And I don't know. I think that there might be a little back and forth there, but like I said, I think that Jason Tatum has to have a outstanding next round, outstanding Eastern Conference Finals, and outstanding finals. It has to be out that he's the guy. And there can't be any question because we seen last year that Jason Tatum, or a few years ago, that Jason Tatum didn't have a good finals, and Jaylen Brown was looked at as more of the go-to guy, right? But now I think he has to take that narrative and basically throw it out like, nah, I'm the guy. Like, I'm the guy that the franchise guy. I know that they paid him and stuff like that, but this is my team. I'm the franchise guy. Like Jason, I'm not taking away from Jaylen Brown, but this, I'm the number one. Right. And I think he has to really explode and do that in order for people to really view him as that, and for him to really get that nod as the face of the league or to win a championship. So yeah, I think we're in for a wild ride with this as far as these young guys. Luka is different. I think that Luka might have to be
that man about to be a 3-time MVP.
Yeah, Luka, I think when he caps off, when he gets his first MVP, I think the narrative is going to start to change a little bit, right? But at the same time, I don't think people are going to start to view him better than Anthony Edwards if he doesn't win a championship, depending on who wins one first.
Right.
And if they just so happen to meet up, we'll see how that goes, right?
Yeah. Yep.
This is true. This is very true. So
yep.
I think it's ultimately interesting to see how these young guys are going to play out and how this young talent is going to play out with this whole swinging of powers, I guess you can say. We lost Micah B. I don't know if he's going to be back before the end of the show, but we're basically about to go ahead and close up at this moment. Second anyway. So, but like we saying, I think it's time for these young guys to kind of really take that big step and kind of take the initiative to really be those guys and really be the new faces of the league. And depending on who wins the championship and how many they win, and not excluding Jokic and Jamal Murray and stuff like that, but because I'm not going to sit here and say that Jokic is not the face of the league or one of the faces of the league or one of the best players in the league, but this is looking at guys that are under the age of 26, 27, who is going to be the next so-called champion, who is going to be the next team, right? Who is going to be the next, looked at as the next so-called face of the league. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get final thoughts. Go ahead, Willie. Go ahead and let us know.
Real quick, first of all, fuck Rob Manfred. Second of all, looking for good playoffs in the second round. Really looking forward to that Timberwolves and Nuggets series. Congratulations to the Knicks. You made it to the second round tonight, so congratulations to you. And you guys can always catch me on the Sports Report podcast on Monday nights on YouTube and Twitch. You can also catch me on Fight Night where we talk pro wrestling. I'm just saying YouTube and Twitch. Oh yeah, SGA. Yeah. SGA the man. We already know this.
We talked SGA earlier in the show.
Yeah. He the man.
I think just to pivot a little bit on SGA. I think he's been playing great. I think a lot of the guys, if I think OKC might just be too young. Depending on the next matchup that they get in the next round, I think that's going to ultimately determine for everybody where OKC is, right? But if they just so happen to cap off this next round and SGA is playing great, then there might be some narratives. I'm not going to lie to you. We might need to start talking about some things.
I never thought an Anthony Edwards SGA face-off is what I was going to need in the Western Conference Finals this season.
But you can get it.
But it's definitely it.
You can get it.
Because if SGA does what he's supposed to do, and Anthony, I'm not gonna lie to you, this might be a matchup going forward. This might be a matchup for the ages. So definitely looking out for SGA.
Oh yeah. Real quick, you can catch me on this fine show, Player versus Team. You can catch us here on Thursday nights, talking everything and anything under the sun in the world of sports. And then Saturday, you have my Geek podcast, the Geek Gauntlet podcast, both on YouTube and Twitch. We talk about video games, anime, comic books, whatever you want to talk about, Star Wars, DC. I'm still trying to figure out who the hell put that poll out saying that Ben Affleck was the worst Batman. We're gonna get into that this week. So definitely check us out this Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern for the Geek Gauntlet podcast.
DJ Michael B, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I love final thoughts because I just get to go off the top of my head here. Make sure you tune into everything Willie just said. Y'all follow him, show him some love. Of course, tomorrow we got the best damn football show on the internet, period. From the Sideline presents Inside the Huddle. Y'all make sure and be right back here and catch that. You got Mel, you got Moo, you got football, and a lot of good topics and great expertise. Of course, we're off on the weekend from the Sideline. So on Monday, you come right back here. You can catch Basket to Basket with me, Moo, Boo Wop, Troy. Tuesday, we're off again. You know, we're looking to fill that void pretty quick. But if you're still looking for some good content on Tuesday, you can follow this man here next to me named Willie. They'll be bringing you the best in pro wrestling and WWE. I can't remember the name of your show. Willie, tell them the name of the show.
Fight Night.
Fight Night.
There you go. You catch Fight Night on Tuesdays. And then, of course, Wednesday, you have me, GQ, maybe Moo. You never know when Moo is going to drop in. Mr. Gent, and, of course, Outlaw on Gentleman's Talk. And we got some good stuff coming up for y'all. It's going to be our Mother's Day episode. We're going to be giving some good old tributes to mothers, people that we refer to as second and third mothers, whatever you want to call it. This show coming up this week is for the mothers and the women out there that are mothers.
Got a whip out there.
Yeah.
So, out there.
Hey, let me put on my Marco Spoon voice. If you know who Marco Spoon is on 102.1, this one is going to be for the ladies right now. You know, so make sure you tune in. Gentlemen's Talk. And of course, next week Thursday, be right back here for Willie on PVT. Y'all know what it is. I will see y'all throughout the week.
Hey man, I appreciate my boys getting up here talking some basketball. I appreciate the chat. We appreciate all of our likers, our subbers, our subscribers, our commenters. As you guys know, we have hit over the 1K marker, so it's only up from here. We appreciate all the love. Like I said, I appreciate all the guys. My man Sean, appreciate my boy Des Moines. Some sincere appreciate y'all boys, man.
I'm sorry, but that comment was wild.
He's trying to be stepdad.
Yeah, you never know, man. He might be taking applications. But we like to have fun here. We appreciate you guys for sliding through. Make sure you guys catch all the rest of the shows throughout the rest of the week. I'll be live tomorrow around 3 Western time, talking some football. So we'll see you then. Peace.
Later.